everyone, welcome back to Medical Digest, and in today's video we are going to talk about the topic terms used to describe bony features. So this forms the introductory part of orthopedics as well, because if we understand what are the different anatomical terminologies which are used to describe the bony features, it makes it quite easy for us to understand what are the clinical and applied aspects of it, right? So when it comes to the terms which are different terms which are used to describe the bony features, they are mainly categorized into two types. First is depressions and openings, and second one is projections and processes. So what is a depression? Depression is nothing but an inward bony indentation. Like we have this inward indentation. And when it comes to the openings, so if we say that these are the two bony structures, so this is just like a two-way hole. This is just like a two-way hole, and it is usually for passing the different structures, for example neurovascular structures in our body. When it comes to projections and processes, these are nothing but outward indentations or an elevated portion of the bony structures. So what comes under the depressions and openings? They are nothing but foramen, fossa, groove, meatus, sinus, facet. We will all learn these things in detail in the upcoming slides. When it comes to the projections and processes, they are nothing but condyles, epicondyles, eminence, head, crest, line, spine, trochanter, tubercle and tuberosity. We will all learn what are these structures and these terminologies along with their examples, so that you get a good audio visual understanding of what kind of terminologies are these. Alright, so moving ahead, when it comes to the depressions and opening, first comes the foramen. So foramen is nothing but a hole which provides passage for the blood vessels and nerves. So the examples of foramen is transverse foramen of the transverse process of vertebra and the foramen magnum. As you can see here, this is the diagram of transverse foramina. These two structures are the transverse foramina, and in another diagram, as you can see that these two transverse through these transverse foramina is passing the different kinds of blood vessels and nerves. So this is an example of foramen. Another example of foramen is foramen magnum. This is the largest foramen in the body, and it has got very important vital structures passing through it, which we will discuss in any other video. Next comes the terminology called as fossa. So fossa is nothing but a hollow depression. So what is the example of fossa? Glenoid fossa of scapula. This is the anterior view of scapula and this is the posterior view of scapula, and you can see that this red color portion here, the highlighted portion, is nothing but a hollow depression. It is not that hollow, but it is slightly hollow and it is a depressed part. This part is nothing but the glenoid fossa of scapula, and you can concentrate here the head of the humerus. As you can see here that the head of the humerus is articulating with the glenoid fossa of scapula to make the shoulder joint. Now when it comes to groove is nothing but a ditch-like groove containing a tendon or a blood vessel. So the classical example of a groove is the bicipital groove, which forms the passage of the long head of biceps brachii. If we want to see this bicipital groove in another view, like in a clear view, I have another diagram. Here you can see that between these two tubercles, this is the greater tubercle and this is the lesser tubercle, you can see that this is a groove-like structure, a long groove-like structure. It is nothing but the intertubercular groove or bicipital groove of the humerus. When it comes to meatus, another terminology, meatus, it is a canal or tube-like opening. It is a canal or tube-like opening. A tube-like opening is the important point here in the bony structure. So the example is external auditory meatus. As you can see that this complete whole structure is a bony structure, and within it is a tube-like opening. So this area, this green colored part, is nothing but the external acoustic meatus or nothing but the external auditory meatus. Now when it comes to sinus, sinus is nothing but an air filled cavity. You need to understand this carefully, that this is an air filled cavity within a bone. So what are the examples of air filled cavity within a bone? These are nothing but paranasal air sinuses. As you can see, these are the different kinds of paranasal air sinuses which are present in the facial-maxillary bones of our bone, and the types of paranasal air sinuses are nothing but frontal sinus, ethmoid sinus, maxillary sinus, and sphenoid sinus. Now coming towards the another terminology called as facet. Facet is nothing but a smooth, flat and shallow area. So what is the difference between fossa and facet? Fossa is nothing but a hollow depression, but when it comes to facet, it is a smooth and flat area. So what are the examples of facet? These are nothing but the articular facets of the ribs. So these are two facets which are shown here. So this is nothing but the articular facet for the superior costal facet of the corresponding thoracic vertebra, and this is the articular facet for the transverse process of the corresponding vertebra. These we will discuss in the thorax part, but what we need to understand here is the facet is nothing but a smooth, flat or shallow area. Now coming towards projections and processes. Projections and processes, the first terminology is the condyle. Condyle is nothing but a rounded knuckle-like projection. And what are the knuckles? If we fold our hand, like if we make our hand like a fist, the rounded projection area which we observe at our fist are nothing but our knuckles. So these are also nothing but rounded projections. As you can see that this is from slightly anterior part, that this is the medial, this is the lateral epicondyle. Again here, this is the lateral epicondyle and this is the medial epicondyle. If we view from the lateral aspects, so this is the structure of the medial epicondyle. So the example of condyles are nothing but the condyles of femur. When it comes to eminence, eminence is nothing but a projecting prominent part of the bone. It is a projecting part as well as it is a prominent part of the bone. So what is the example? It is the intercondylar eminence of tibia. So as you can see that this bone is called as tibia, and this is a projecting prominent part of this tibia. So this portion here is nothing but the intercondylar eminence. If we look it from the above, like if we have a superior view, as you can see that this is the projecting part, this is the prominent projecting part, hence this is another view of intercondylar eminence, and this is another diagram which shows intercondylar eminence of tibia. Now coming towards the head. Head is nothing but rounded, important. It is rounded and important articular projection. Articular projection. So what is head? Head is rounded as well as articulating. Why? Because when we come to head of any part of the body, it is most of the time used for articulation purposes, for making different kinds of joints. Most importantly, ball and socket joint. So it is a rounded articular projection beyond a narrow neck-like portion of the bone. So as you can see that this is the femoral head and this is the narrow neck-like projection. So this is the femoral neck. When it comes to humeral head, this is the humeral head and this is a narrow neck-like portion of the humerus. So head is nothing but rounded articular projection beyond a narrow neck-like portion of the bone. Again the examples are head of femur and head of humerus. Head of femur, head of humerus. Now coming towards the crest. Crest is sharp ridge or border. So this part here is nothing but a sharp ridge or border-like structure called as iliac crest. So this is another example of crest. When it comes to epicondyle, this is prominence above, and it is a prominent part above or over a condyle. So what is the difference between eminence and epicondyle? It is also a projecting prominent part, and epicondyle is also a projecting or maybe a prominent part. So it is also a prominent part. But the difference between eminence is that it is a prominent projecting part of the bone, and epicondyle is a prominence above a condyle. So first we have condyle. So this is the medial and this is the lateral condyle of the humerus. This is again is the medial condyle and this is the lateral condyle of the humerus. So any structure above it is the epicondyle. So this is the medial epicondyle of humerus and this is the lateral epicondyle of humerus. Now when it comes to the line is a less prominent ridge. For example, linea aspera of femur. As you can observe here, that this yellow colored highlighted portion here I have shown is the linea aspera of femur. It has got important muscle attachments, but this is quite less prominent as it is overlapped with many muscle attachments, hence called as line, or the linea aspera of femur, which is an example of less prominent ridge called as line. When it comes to spine, it is a long thin projection. So you can see that this is a long and this is a thin projection coming out of the vertebra. So these are nothing but spines of vertebra, cervical vertebrae spines. These are also called as spinous processes. Now when it comes to the trochanter is a very large prominence, and the most important part here is that it is used for muscle attachment. Trochanter is nothing but a part which is used for muscle attachment. So what is the example of trochanter? It is trochanter of femur. This is the example which shows trochanter of femur. This is the greater trochanter and this is the lesser trochanter, and these two trochanters have important muscle attachments over there. Hence the example of the trochanter, that is a very large prominence over a bony structure which is used for muscle attachment. Now coming towards the tubercle. The trochanter is a large prominence, tubercle is a small rounded projection. It is a small rounded projection. Now what is small rounded projection? As you can see, the example is greater and lesser tubercles of humerus. This is the greater tubercle of humerus and this is the lesser tubercle of humerus. If you want to see it clearly, you can see here very clearly that this is the lesser tubercle of the humerus and this is the greater tubercle of humerus, and these are small rounded projections. From the lateral aspect, you can see that this is the greater tubercle, hence this explains the terminology tubercle. Now coming towards the last terminology, that is tuberosity. It is large rounded projection. It is a large rounded projection. Tubercle is a small rounded projection and tuberosity is a large rounded projection. So the example is ischial tuberosity. So this whole green bone here is nothing but ischium, and a large rounded tuberosity over this part is nothing but the ischial tuberosity. This wraps up the entire topic of different terminologies which are used to describe the bony structures. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Do share it with maximum of your friends and do subscribe to my channel because it helps me keep motivated. Also stay tuned with my YouTube channel. Until then, see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.